How you going?
I gotta do the welcome.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Cool, I wasn't quite sure, again, do your thing.
Welcome to the Locust and the Loop podcast. I'm sitting here with Haleigh Hing.
How you going?
There we go. Now go. How many times have you gone to Isaiah? Do you get this quite often?
I reckon half the people that know me probably call me that.
It is Isaiah,
my family
right?
calls me Isaiah, yeah.
Okay.
And my mates call me Isaiah because that's how I'd say my name, but Aaron would call me Isaiah. I don't tell him it's wrong.
Really? This
it's...
is a public service announcement.
It's not wrong, I don't care, it's
wrong,
the same name.
Right. So you've come from, where do you come from? Grunge?
Dubbo.
Grunge,
musically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were asking me about my hometown. Yeah. No, so I was born here. I was born in the Nambour Hospital. My parents lived here when they were very young for a short amount of time, but they very quickly moved back to Dubbo because they just didn't have any family here. There was nothing here. They lived in a house, on the beach for nothing. Young parents, and it was just the sunny coast was just not the same. Say 20 years ago, you know what I mean?
So they went back to Dubbo.
They went back to Dubbo because they didn't have much family or anything up there. I was just more making a point about that you could actually just have that back then. You could just be paying $150 a week for a house on the beach, and there's not all this traffic, and it's now it's just blown up so much. Yeah. But if you're asking me musically, where I sort of come from, it's it's hard to say. I kind of started playing music. I started just busking after my family moved here, and I realised that you could do that because you couldn't really do that in my hometown. But people probably did it. There wasn't as much of a culture or appreciation for it. But my older brother Haleigh always played gigs and stuff at the hotels and the pubs and stuff back in Dubbo.
Oh, Dubbo.
And then when we moved here, he'd do his busking and play his gigs, and I was like, well, I can play the guitar. I can't sing that great, but I could busk. I have way too much social anxiety in my life at that time to get a job because I used to work at KFC.
So you had social anxiety, so you're into busking?
I felt more comfortable doing busking.
That's crazy.
Well, because I feel like I didn't have to to me, it felt like an easy way for me to do something that I know that I can do and not have someone saying, oh, you need to do it to this standard and whatever. People can come past, they can appreciate it if they want. If they don't, they'll just move on. It doesn't become someone's problem, really.
Yeah.
At least if you're not plugging heaps of gear in and you're making heaps of noise. I'd just sit there with my guitar for ages, and then, I was only 15 or 16, so all I needed was $150 or $100 for a week, and I could just buy all the useless things I didn't really need, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't have a car yet or anything like that, but...
Where would you busk?
I started doing it in Bullcock Street in Caloundra.
Oh, yeah.
But that, because I just lived in Caloundra, didn't have a car, so I'd just go down there. And it was alright for a bit. I think I did that for about a year. Some days it'd be better than others, obviously, but you'd still do it anyway because you had nothing better to do, and you were sort of getting better at it. I wasn't even really trying to be a musician in the beginning. I was trying to make money.
Yeah.
Because I was just a young kid and didn't want to get a job.
Yeah.
But I eventually realised...
the hardest profession to make money.
Well, I had done, so my background was, I'd done a bit of guitar lessons growing up at that point. I kind of actually didn't really enjoy guitar lessons when I was really young, and I did it.
Yeah.
But, as I grew up, wasn't really fully into it or anything, but every now and then I'd hear a song, I'd just look it up on YouTube, how to do your sort of bar chords and stuff, so I had a decent understanding about how to play guitar. It was I really kind of started getting me going in the music world was I was really into Sticky Fingers at the time.
Yeah.
Ocean Alley. I loved I think what really sort of lit a fire in me was watching a lot of early Tash Sultana.
Yeah, right.
At that time, and that was when I could see someone on their own doing. And even now, what I'm doing now is kind of going back to, doing Pity Vincent for 3 years, now going back to what I kind of envisioned what was going to happen if I was at that point to continue doing what I was doing, which was just being on my own. I was only 18, 19, so I wasn't really being serious about it, but now I'm I've done something, I've committed to it, done a really good job, and I have to start all over again.
Yeah.
And I'm 23 this time, so But I've got a lot more under my belt, but it's like I'm taking a bit more seriously than I was back then. You know, I still felt like I was young and could just like go and just do my thing. But you know, you got to actually go out there and network and like really hone your craft and sit down some nights and just contemplate and ask yourself what it is that you're looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In especially like where I am now, just like trying to get a start in my own music, and I'm just so used to being like a singer for so long for a band, and like I used to play guitar and play on my own or anything, but I back then I'd kind of like play the blues. I think that was what got me really into sort of the rock realm and the band realm, like the blues.
How did that start?
Pity was when I turned 18, I started playing like the open mics at Soul Bar like every week because again like I had nothing better to do. It was all
that was like how so many musos started on the coast.
Yeah, well, it was all I really wanted at that. By the time I was 17, I was playing like some regular gigs at like the Caloundra markets or at there was a venue at the time called 313 Social, which was where Black Flag in Mooloolaba is now.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
But I couldn't get many more gigs, and I couldn't go play at Soul Bar because I wasn't 18 yet. So when I turned 18, I went and did that. And that was around the time, actually, that COVID had just hit planet Earth.
When you just got 18?
I think just before I turned 18.
That's so shit.
Yeah. So I just graduated school. I think I got a job at like a cafe or something for a bit, and then I lost it.
I can drink beer in the living room.
I can't do anything, but I feel like that was really good for me because I learned a lot during that period just being at home playing guitar.
Yeah, right.
That was a big guitar period for me, was sitting at home during lockdown playing heaps of guitar.
Who'd you like? Did you have someone you actually followed on YouTube? I reckon if YouTube was around when I was learning guitar, I actually would have learnt guitar, but I hated the lessons.
Do you mean like I had sort of like you're self-taught, but you know where to find information? And
yeah.
There were certain people, even with like my singing and stuff as well. There are certain people I'd look at. Like I had a singing teacher for 4 years, but at a certain point, I kind of was like, felt like I'd learned all the most of the techniques and stuff that I needed to learn. My main problem was keeping your voice intact and conditioning and warming up. And it's like why some nights I would absolutely smash it, and then the next night I'd be having an absolute horrible time.
Yeah.
And it's not because you don't know what you're doing, it's because your voice, you got to understand that you got to get your voice into like a nice state for performance, just like an athlete, you know what I mean? Where you're not going to pull a tendon because you're doing this insane sprint, you know, you're about to sing Cemetery Gates by Pantera.
Yeah.
You know, 50-minute set list, you know what I mean? Like.
So do you do vocal warm-ups every time?
I used to, it's a realm that I sort of tried to understand, you know, just me on my own journey, also figuring out your instrument. But the funny thing about the vocals, unlike the guitar or anything else, is no one can show it to you. No one can show you what to do. They can only guide you. And it's kind of just like your singing lessons are usually like someone's like, oh, just make a noise that sounds like this. And then you're like, you know, that feeling, you go, no, not like that. Do it again. And then when you do it right, you're like, that feeling, that thing that you felt that just then, you need to replicate that. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
It's the weird thing about the voice, but over time I realised that like I needed to start warming up and doing things for me shows so that I could have some consistency and not ruin my performances, and also not just get overconfident because I think I killed it the night before. But you know, so I did like all the I hated it. I hated every minute of it. And then at that time, it was actually making it worse.
Really?
It's making everything worse. And the point was, and this isn't the fault of my like teacher at the time or anything, but this is just where I was in my own journey, was like not understanding that, you know, it doesn't matter what routine you do, what scale you do, whatever.
Yeah.
It's about how you're doing it and what you're actually feeling, and it's just like you need to pay attention to that. It's like, does that actually feel comfortable, or are you sitting there trying to hit all these notes?
Yeah, just like checking a box, but you're actually just practicing the wrong thing.
And so like after years of like going through that, I was sort of, after realising that and sort of just beginning to understand the conditioning of the voice and stuff, I sort of would like just pick a few songs that I liked to sing that would hit all the areas that I needed to achieve and sort of feel out. So rather than feeling like, all right, sorry guys, all my housemates, I've got to go do this really annoying vocal exercise. Oh, just, like me and my housemates sing around the house. Like, you just sing at work, you sing that tune that you love singing in the car and you actually enjoy it. But what you need to do is actually pay attention to what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And when you're feeling good and you know how to just sort of like slowly open up the voice. And
like muscle memory. Really.
It doesn't matter what, to me personally, at least where I'm at, for me, it doesn't really matter what you do. It kind of matters the areas of your voice that you need to sort of target.
Yeah.
The most important thing is you need to know how it should be feeling. It doesn't matter how many scales or anything you do. They can be helpful, but it's about, for me at that time, it wasn't helpful because I didn't even think about it properly.
Because so you were in Pity when you're 18, and then we do
19. Just turned 19, yeah.
And then whose idea was it? Was it like your old mates and?
Yeah, no. So I had been playing at Soul Bar every week at the open mic for about a year, and then that next year was obviously around the time of my birthday, and then that night I played and I met Ray from Pity, and they had Oscar Bishop as their singer at the time. And they were a lot grunge, like Oscar's got a deeper voice than myself. It was very grungy, but I loved it. I was watching there, like I hadn't seen anything like that yet, watching them play.
You're like, oh,
it was very grungy. It was very dark grungy, and it was sick, and I loved it. And then I played, and then I think Ray came up to me that night, and he was just like, oh, we started getting along, and he was just like, oh, do you want to jam in that? And I was like, oh, yeah. And then I think Oscar ended up leaving because he just had some unfortunate circumstances happening in his life at the time. And so Ray was like, oh, do you want to just come? Would you consider joining? And I was like, yeah, maybe. I've never done that before. I've never played in a band before, but I should definitely give it a go. I should. Like, I kind of am a little bit nervous about it, but, like, really, I'm so young and, like, what have I got to lose? I should give it a go. I kind of was very keen on doing my own thing. But I was like, well, if you're young and it's like, it turns out to be something good, what's wrong with doing that? And that was absolutely the right thing to do. Yeah. And so, we just started jamming, and I don't really know at what point it became, we didn't really say it to each other, it kind of just happened, So we started doing that, jamming, playing open mics, and like, at that point, I hadn't even unlocked that sort of like, thing in the voice. Like, so I would sing Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, and I'd get us all to play it in E minor, which is like, just way down in the voice. And which is just crazy because I have all the videos of it and I listen to it, and I'm just like, 3 months later, I kind of just, Ray would show me some Led Zeppelin songs, and that's where, like, with Oscar, they were real grungy, but we kind of bonded over our love of, like, I kind of would introduce Ray to like some sort of blues stuff, and then he sort of would introduce me to sort of like the glam metal and like the AC/DC. Like, at that time, I didn't even know, like, people probably gonna hate me for this, but like, I didn't even know that Bon Scott was a singer that existed. I just always thought it was Brian Johnson. Yeah. As a young kid, whenever I heard AC/DC, I just didn't like it because, like, personally, his voice kind of scared me as a young kid. I thought that's what Satan sounded like.
That's hilarious.
But and then one day, Ray put Power Ridge on by Akadaka, the album, like Riff Raff and Rock and Roll Damnation, and I was like, is this AC/DC? Like, it sounds like AC/DC, but just better. And he was like, he's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, oh, and so I was opened up to this world of, like, I think it was around that time as well I discovered Led Zeppelin, which is, like, even to this day, I'd probably say my favourite band ever.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's also, I was originally, like, before Pity, very loved, like, my Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, like, again, loved the blues, played a lot of guitar in my room, loved playing the blues, kind of envisioned myself being in, like, a three-piece. Yeah. Doing sort of Jimmy. Okay. And actually, I didn't think of myself as much of a singer at that time either. I thought more so of a guitar player.
Yeah. But, I've never seen you do blues.
Yeah, I do all sorts of shit, but
blues.
What was I gonna? Yeah, I feel like you got to make it digestible for people these days because it's very old sounding and it can be a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
But it's an art form itself, the blues, and it's all in the yeah.
I think any genre you're not used to is repetitive. Like, to me, a lot of people hate this. All country sounds the fucking same.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I just don't appreciate it.
I'm not a fan myself, but I think it's more like with the blues, it's a very similar structure. Where in country, like, you get a lot of similar sounds and tones.
Yeah.
Vocal tones, like harmonicas and like violins and stuff. But you get different sort of beats and like chord progressions. Whereas the blues, I think, for even myself, sometimes I'll be listening to a blues track, but it's the same bass line beat over and over again. But what keeps the story rolling is a good guitar player or a really good singer.
Yeah.
And that's like the idea of it. But sometimes you don't get that, you know what I mean? So I think that at those times is what makes it kind of tricky for people to...
Yeah, it's more like the old soul days of like New York and stuff, the piano bars, the vibe.
Or you merge sort of ideas from blues into music, which again, because like when I'm talking about the blues right now, I'm talking about like real old school 12-minute track of the same 12-bar blues, but it's Jimi Hendrix playing the guitar and he's telling a story. You know what I mean? Like that's sick to me. Like I'll sit down there and listening to it, but it's like the bass and the drums sort of let the story sort of have a scene.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy tells a story, or Stevie Ray tells a story. Stevie Ray's, I'd probably say my favourite guitar player as well.
Oh yeah.
Like even more so than Jimmy. I just love his style.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that was sort of my thing that I brought into Pity. I actually used to play the guitar in the beginning. I'd play sort of rhythm guitar, sing, and Ray would do lead.
Right.
And then we both realised that like we could actually be a lot better at our own instruments if I just put down the guitar and I focus on me singing, and I put down the guitar and give Ray more space in the sound to play with, because he's got all these pedals, and like I'm not even really that educated about like amp tones or pedals or anything, because I didn't get a lot of time to really I've done a lot of playing, but half your electric guitar is your tone that comes out of the guitar, and it's just like what you dial in on your guitar amp, what guitar amp you have, and what kind of pedal systems you're running. And
so when you practice, you mainly...
It's a very expensive game.
Yeah,
so it's always like buying a pedal, and then that's what I witness, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, but at some point, I'm going to have to. I've got this massive Marshall stack in my room still that I used to play on the rhythm in Pity, but now I'm just like, man, like I will need an amp at some point. I've been playing more keys lately, but I don't think I need a massive like... I don't know how big it is, like this big. It's just massive, really loud, with no master knob on it. So it's like you have to crank it up. Yeah,
well, and keys are more rare too.
I found with the keys it was like, I was more, because talking about sort of where I am with my music, like I love guitar, and I was always, the songs that I would write on my own outside of Pity were always very like a nice, and I take this from a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix, like, not so much the blues stuff, but like the Little Wing sort of thing, is like having a real nice, I don't know how to explain it, like chord progression, and you keep the melody inside what you're doing, and you're doing it all at once, and you keep your hand slapping on that thing at the right time every time, and it feels like there's this mad acoustic video of Stevie Ray playing Pride and Joy without the vocals, like he's doing all the lead on the guitar, and like that's a bit more bluesy. Like I'm not really doing that, but it demonstrates like what he's doing and how he's playing sort of a run, singing a little melody on his guitar, and then coming right back and hitting the thing like the drum would at the exact same time. And a lot of me songs are like that on the guitar. Yeah, because
how many songs have you written now?
I don't know. Yeah, I have about, I think 7 sitting there, ideas.
All on guitar?
But I was just trying to remember what I was actually talking about just then. But I've been
playing. Still going how to get out of Pity.
Yeah. Oh, right.
What was your turning point? Because did the vocal lessons start during Pity, and then you kind of...
No, I had them very early on, actually. So I started... My singing teacher come across me when I was playing at the markets.
Just like
busking.
in my business
card. Yeah, she literally said that. She was like... I think she's like, look, you're not really that good right now, but you have potential, I reckon. And one thing she always said to me was like, you know, one reason I picked you up was because I could see a lot of what I used to do in my own mistakes and everything in yourself, and I think I can help you. And yeah, it definitely transformed my singing.
Yeah, right.
Like I wouldn't be able to sing and use my voice that way. It's sort of just your fundamental things, like how to breathe properly and like how to actually hold out a note. You don't realise how strong you actually are in here because you just choose not to. Like, for example, I'd sing like Partner in Crime by Ocean Alley at the time. I really liked that song, and I'd say, baby, won't you be my lady? Because he's holding that note out, but unless someone actually forces you to engage that, you don't realise you can, and it's just you're pushing your diaphragm in like that. And it's actually not that hard, but when you finish doing that for like the first time, you get this like feeling like you've just had a workout.
Yeah, I remember when I used to do singing, we have to do like puff it in and out.
Yeah, and it feels like a burn too. But that's when you know you're doing something good as well.
Yeah.
It's when you know you need it.
Bit of lactic acid.
Yeah, not that side of things. That's one thing you have to be careful of too. Is like
don't gym just sing.
I had just realising, especially before very intense performances, like you can't just eat an entire meal like right before.
Have you ever been
you're
sick
gonna go
on stage? Have you ever like been sick?
In what way? Like
after you eat?
Yeah, a couple times. That's why I realised I just couldn't. But you know, I just didn't think about it at the time. I was just like, I just eat something. It was more like
it makes sense.
I wouldn't get so sick. I'd more so feel like I just felt weaker because I couldn't physically push myself to that point to make myself feel sick. But it just makes you feel weaker, lazier, and you're just like, why is everything so much harder? It's because like you could. And sometimes I think over time I started to actually do that though, because I knew that I had to actually put on a performance regardless of what's going on in there, like later on in in the years. And that's when I sort of would get sickness. I think when I played at Monkey Fest with the fellas, I come off like in the middle of like our last song and just threw up.
Oh.
Yeah. And I just met like Harry and the boys from Nuff and Butter, like only just like a couple of weeks ago at the Your Mate's Brewing gig. And like same thing, like second time I've spoken to Harry, I'm over there chucking up, they're watching us, he comes over and just sticks his fingers right in my mouth. He's like, get back up there, man. He's like trying to help me out.
That's classic.
He's just got his fingers right down my throat. And then I just got back up there. I think we were doing, it's that Angel song. Am I ever going to see your face again? It wasn't comfortable, but...
Oh, God.
That's what you do when you're young and you're in the middle of a set.
The band
like, you just got to do it. No way I'm giving up on that.
Yeah.
I just won't do it again. You know what I mean? Like, that's where those sort of things would happen, and I realised, like, yeah, you can't be putting yourself through that. And I think I kind of realised as well, like, how intense it is. Like, especially in Pity, it was always this feeling of, like, you know, the others encouraged it, but I also encouraged it myself, was just, like, how far can you go?
Yeah.
It's like, how long can I, like, hold this, like, note, this really high note, and then once you do that, you're, like, you put yourself through all this pain and, like, training for it, and then you hit that, and you're like, yes, and then you're like, now let's go further.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think over time I just realised, like, I'm actually not, and this isn't anyone's fault, but I don't feel freedom in my voice and, like, my perform. I just feel like I'm always trying to, put on this massive show that's going to catch someone's eye, and it's just like, it doesn't have to be like that. It's like, it can be if you're willing to, like, every performance you do, put yourself through that rigorous, like, training, and so you can do that, or you can sort of just, like, do what you're reasonably comfortable with. That is pretty good anyway, and, you know, also let the music revolve around other elements rather than just the voice. Yeah. You know, like, it doesn't always have to be about the lead vocal either. Sometimes, and that's one thing I'm learning now, like, I'm recording with Steve Stonewax, and he's sort of helped me kind of going into the studio, you know, after playing in a band and sort of playing your stuff live, playing your shows live, rehearsing live, and, like, you're arranging the songs as you go and you're sort of putting them together and getting the idea. But, like, me as a solo musician, unless I have my own little studio thing, which I probably could set up if I wanted.
You got one there.
Yeah, I know, but it's just very
like intimidates
me a little bit, and yeah, it is their stuff. Like, they don't have a problem with it. It's more like it overwhelms me a little bit. But that's why in general I don't even do that. Like, I could just get my laptop, put the SCART in, make a dodgy demo just for me to hear all the elements together, because all I've got now is myself.
Yeah.
And it's like the decisions you make about the music that you're creating are not just like, they can't just be like, there's been several times where I've sort of been like, oh yeah, I make this sick bass line. Like, I've learnt bass pretty alright over the past year. I think I'm pretty good now at playing it. And then I realise, like, oh, now I come up with this bass line, I think it's sick, and I bring it in the studio, and it's just like Steve's just telling me, like, bro, just like do less with it and just like think about. And at that time, I think that I'm aware of it, but I'm actually not. And every time I hear it back, I'm like, he's right. The bass, and that's one thing. It's just like you got to know how to write the bass as well, not just how to play it.
So you had like an identity crisis.
A little bit, yeah. But I feel like now it's like I'm just realising that it's all coming back to, all the things that I've loved and that I felt like doing.
Yeah.
Like, I love, another big one was Matt Corby, like early in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Love Matt Corby, sort of like when I actually discovered his albums, Telluric and Rainbow Valley.
Yeah. Have you seen him live?
I have, a couple times.
That's nuts.
Brilliant. Yeah. But,
then how long have you been doing your own thing for? Like,
it's hard to say. I've been.
I got on the Pity Vincent podcast when they told me that you'd left.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like a year ago.
It was.
I know it was fucking cold.
It was a year ago.
Yeah, right.
So for about that first half of the year, and even probably until I'd say recently, I spent a lot of my time and energy that I had towards building the business, which is going out, playing your cover gigs, playing for venues, making good money, but also like realizing that, like, you need to know how to sustain yourself for 3-hour gigs 5 nights a week, and like I do, like I just did 7 last week, I think. So but it's good because I'm training myself and I'm knowing where I need to sit, and it's like you can make this happen if you look after yourself.
Yeah, well, your whole body's the instrument.
Yeah.
It's your voice.
So that took me some time realising. Also, just updating my repertoire of songs, like, and trying to figure out, get back into, I guess, just, practicing. And like one thing I'd say is probably my thing when I'm playing live is like I don't have a stomp box, but I play the guitar in a way where it's like sort of hitting it very rhythmically, and I'm using the open E string and that sort of second pentatonic box on the guitar to sort of make songs like Superstition, but the whole time you can hear the bass because I'm using the E string as the bass, and I'm playing the riff on the A string next to it, and then I'm smacking it at the same time. And I do that with Break On Through by The Doors as well.
So you just
So just like developing those sort of things, as well as, learning more songs to play, and doing heaps of emailing, and just like, reaching out to venues and trying to stay booked. Yeah. And trying to keep up with money and taxes.
Yeah.
Till you get to a point where it's like, okay, I know I have systems in place where I can manage this, and I don't have to sort of be figuring it out along the way, and also just catching up to stuff all the time.
So you're a full-time muso now?
Full-time muso, and I do like a very short day of teaching guitar at Pacific Lutheran, which is like, it's, another way of making money that I wanted to get my foot in that sort of door. Yeah. And, I don't feel like I need to take heaps on at the moment. It's something I'm pretty new to, and that takes up a bit of my time too. It's not just teaching the students, but like for me to only have 10 students, it's like it's 10 parents. It's 10 parents and students and individual content to keep up with. Salmon from Catching Salmon? Yeah. He got me that job there. Oh. So that's what he does through the week. He does that all week. I don't know how he does it. Yeah. It's just stressing me out. I'd rather be... Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say I'd rather be digging holes again, but that's not true. It's definitely not true. It's having that
responsibility of other people and parents. Nah, I could never do teaching.
Yeah, it's...
The kid's shit, because of the kid, not me.
Yeah, I'm not teaching, and I'm tutoring. So it's like they come see me for the half hour that the parent pays me for. And, the student, like even I had one recently that was just like, oh, my parents are having concerns because he's just this young year 2 kid, doesn't know any better. He's like, just because we've only been able to go over the A minor chord, we kind of feel like, you know, we haven't done much. And I'm like, you know, you just tell your parents that they can contact me whenever they want. And also to look back at that email I sent, you know, ages ago, but that's what you got to do. You just got to make sure that parents have received. And I'm like, I've got all the information there. I keep taking you over this chord because you still can't, like, efficiently play it in front of me, so why would we move on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would I get you to start learning songs if you can't actually even put the chords together?
Yeah,
you know
so
what I mean?
you're practicing. I remember
and
when I was
that's the way I think about it for the student. I'm like, if you just knuckle on this and focus on it, you'll actually make it second nature.
Do you make them practice?
Oh yeah, I tell them to practice. Some of them, they're all individual. That's the thing. That's why it's so hard to keep up with. Some of them are just like, yeah, I just tell them, and the older ones I can talk to a bit more like adults.
Yeah.
I like to sort of like think about, you know, because I've always wanted to do singing lessons as well.
I was going to say, you teach it.
I've wanted to do just like coaching and musical coaching in general, just because I love it.
Yeah.
And I just love music, and I can talk all day about it.
Yeah.
But you know, I wish in even my guitar lessons, even my singing lessons, that I got a bit more of just like, can we just have a conversation about the things that I'm not understanding, and like, rather than just getting me to do something over and over again. It's just, I tell the kids that, I'm like, you know, I'll say something, I'll sort of paint this big picture, and I'm just like, are you understanding this? Or I'll say, if you have anything that's boggling your mind, like, just make sure you let me know, because we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that helps a lot. And like, some of me, I'd say half of me students like just improved so well.
Yeah.
In the first week, but again, everyone's different. The young ones are really hard. They're the ones you have to make practice. You have to be like, look, I can tell a year 6 student that I'm like, look, just, we're doing all this content in our class. You know, these are the things that I point out every time that need work. The things that you don't like doing, the things that you find difficult, that you can't do, they're the things you need to do.
Yeah.
For about half an hour, you know, a few times a week, as much as you can be dedicated.
The young kids will have their parents telling them.
The young kids just don't know how to. They just feel like, I don't know what I need to do to practice. And
just be better.
Yeah, unless you lay out, and most tutors would do that, that's the thing. They'd be like, here's this practice routine, but I'm trying to be a bit more pinpoint.
Yeah.
Like, curate, but I need them to also, like, this young kid came back to me and he was like, oh, I'm like, why can't you still play the A minor chord? And he was like, oh, I said, what actually is your practice routine? And he's like, oh, I grab the A minor chord that we're learning, and I strum it 100 times, and then I just strum the guitar open 100 times. I'm like, look, that's not too bad. Like, it's not too bad. Like, that's what I'll tell a young kid or something to do if it's something they're struggling to do. Get it right. Do it 100 times. But I'm like, why? If you've done that, why is your A minor wrong? Because he's been sitting there doing it 100 times wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, you need to actually think about what you're doing, because you can also train bad habits.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why I sent that email,
yeah.
you know, with the shape for him to look at, you know, which is partly the parents' responsibility and everything as well. Sit here and you can tell me about all this irrelevant stuff. I try to keep them focused.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just, especially the young ones, just want to talk about something else, or there's one that always just wants to pick on me. Like, I'm like, I don't care what you say, but like, if you actually want to learn the guitar, it's like, you're going to stop doing this. Because I'll happily sit here and just banter with you.
Yeah.
But you're not getting anything done, so that's up to you.
Oh, God.
And I was like, either way, I get paid. And after I said that to him, somehow it like clicked to him, and he started, and he's like, yeah, all of a sudden he's just nailing.
Wow.
And that's why I think it's so much about mindset, and that's why talking is so important, rather than just like, here's your song, A, C, B, do. Wait for the kid to finally be able to get the
That's
the
me
chord.
when I play guitar. I'm like,
yeah. It's because, like, you need to know how to use your fingers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why doesn't it sound right? Because you've got this finger 2 millimeters too far forward, and you're muting the string on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like, they all need to be like, just really the little things that I feel like, you know, wasn't always pointed out to me and made very obvious. I kind of just had to figure it out over time, which you can, but it's like, I reckon it takes that little bit extra long in the first part, but it's
a bit of psychology with teaching.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a tone deaf student? That'd be tricky.
No, I've had students come in with I tell them to tune their guitar every time, and they come in and it's not tuned, and they said, well, I tuned it. I have
tone deaf?
Maybe that's why I'm saying that. But I'm like, what? You have to bring this in and I have to tune it every time for
It's
you.
wild, so people can't hear it because, like, I know nothing about music, but I know, but that's fucking
out of tune. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite obvious. Yeah, so where I'm at now is like I spent a bit of that first 6 months since leaving Pity really getting a good just like playing cover gigs, they're just cover gigs, and you don't want that to contaminate your originality, which I hear a lot of musicians speak of. And it is very true, but you just got to treat it like it's work.
Because you hear both sides of the story of like, go out to as many cover gigs and then don't taint your brand. It's like...
I think you just got to really treat it like work. Like, you just have to really keep it separated. But for a lot of people, it is, and it's not easy. It's very tricky to find balance in your life around, taking gigs here and there and playing Tuesday nights and, Thursday nights and doing 2 in a day and stuff.
Yeah. And like the best way is like training, getting a name out there, and then slowly once you've got the following and the rap, then start knocking off.
Well, I think the biggest, most important thing that I've learnt recently for myself as an artist is figure out what it is that allows you to flourish. So if you are like playing heaps of cover gigs, you feel like it's getting in the way of you being able to not only just have time but also feel like you're focused on it. That's why I spent 6 months just thinking about it and not thinking so much about writing music or anything. I said, I'm just going to get this to a point where I know heaps of solid songs, I've got heaps of venues to work with, I'm getting good rates. So then I don't really have to think about it anymore. I just got to try and get myself booked. And now after that, I think it's about time now to start adding a few more songs to my just cover list, but I don't sit around thinking about, what cover song, I need to learn. It's one reason I don't, weddings are awesome, but anytime I have had a wedding experience, it's been just a bit I just kind of like going to a place and just letting me do what I know I can do for people.
Have you done the weddings where they request a song?
I get requested songs all the time. I'm just like, I don't know every song in the world. I'm sorry. I am sorry. And, most people are like, but then they go and ask you for another one and no, I'm sorry, I can't.
You need a print out, here's my set list.
Yeah. It's hard though because I have so many I can't remember, and then I'll go through a period of time where I really like this genre of music and I like something else, so I do more Pearl Jam.
Yeah, call me a month too late, mate.
But going back to what I was saying before was after a while I felt pretty established, and especially I'm busy as now because I think when winter happened, when it started getting cold, a lot of venues were like, we got to cut down our rotations, and again that's when you're like, I've got to get on the computer and just for a few days and just find every network I can and try and just reach out as much as I can, and then 2 months later you're playing 7 gigs in a week in the winter. So and I'm just doing morning gigs has been good for that.
Yeah.
So I've gone back to doing the markets.
There's a few cafes too that do mornings.
Yeah. Some of them are the markets are great because you get heaps of not only tips but also heaps of traffic. I get way more social media attention or just attention in general playing at the markets than I do anywhere, because you have so many people coming through. They're also not really intoxicated. Yeah. They're also focused on not their own mission, which is to go find a bar to drink in or something. They're looking and observing everything, and your music is just loud and it's in the air outside. And
what's your favourite market?
I'd love to... Well, look, I have a thing for the Caloundra markets because I sort of was brought up there. We do. We go back. They've had a change of management over the years, hence why I had a period of sort of not playing there with Pity and stuff as well. But I'd love to get into the Monday markets as well. Yeah. I just know every musician wants that, obviously.
I think there's baskets too.
Yeah.
Just go set up outside the admin office. But Perugian's really good because they've got that area. There's food, and then you go and sit, and people watch the musician. Yeah,
I'll have to.
It's my favourite.
Suss that. I'm a bit closer there now, anyway, because that's what I was saying here before. I generally don't like driving more than 30 minutes for a regular, sort of job that I need to do.
Yeah, they're only twice a month.
True. Yeah. If it pays heaps of money, I don't care. It's just I like my sleep these days, so I don't I'm getting old, is what I'm saying. I'm getting old.
Don't give me that.
But nah. So really trying not to lose track of this because it was a very good idea and I really want to say it. But yeah, I feel established now. I feel like I know what I'm doing. You know? And I'm making money and I'm doing it full time. There's stresses upon that as well, you know, like you're working with yourself, which is, I'd much prefer doing that. There's obviously the pros and cons,
Yeah,
but
great.
I would much prefer, because I spent that first 6 months doing that because I was still labouring.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't play in a band anymore, so I may as well go back to doing what I was doing before I was playing in a band and actually getting paid to play gigs. And then I was like, I may as well try and quit my job because this sucks. Like,
working for yourself is like all this freedom, but then the ups and downs are like...
I was doing a bit of study at the time as well.
What were you studying?
I was just studying music at UniSC, and it was kind of just a way for me to, like, I got a study allowance from it. It helped sort of balance with my gigs and sort of help get my foot in that. At least go, I can quit my job now because I have something else to do. I make enough money because I wasn't playing heaps of gigs at the start.
Yeah.
But that was also me putting my foot in the door to actually get the job that I have now. And now I've just deferred because, I had a lot of stuff going on, but I just realised I can't really expect myself to study full time and keep doing what I'm doing now. And also I'm getting the hands-on experience that I did this for, so what's the point?
Yeah. And how long is this music? 3 years?
Yeah, and the thing I say though is like it's the very thing I think studying something like music...
Just to suck the fun out of it.
It's something you need to be just knowing why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And for me that was a perfect... I'm glad I did it for that, you know. I got the job that I wanted, I just dropped out. Like, I didn't drop out, I deferred, but I probably will end up just
How long
dropping
did you
out.
do? 6 months?
I completed 6 months, a semester, and then started this year. I started the term again, but a lot of things, trying to move house and like
does it move?
Play heaps of gigs.
Take like the creativity element out of it, studying it.
Some of the stuff, it depends. Like I said, there's so much content. There's the songwriting and performance part, which is like the part where it's just like, look, to be honest, like I just don't go to class because I do it for a living.
Yeah.
Like I just come in to do my performance assignment and leave. And,
yeah.
Then you got like your sort of business stuff, which is just like your school work, which is annoying. And then you've got like your production classes, which I love because it's not really about creativity, but it's about the science of music and the studio.
Sort of, producing.
Producing, yeah, like how
yeah.
audio engineering works.
Yeah.
You learn so much about how studios work, and I'm just someone that's always very, very intrigued by it, but it's something that intimidates me.
Yeah.
It's just all the knobs and numbers, and I'm much more strong in my just like, I'll just write a banger on my guitar and try and figure out how to get it recorded. Yeah. But it's something that I need to confront as well. It's something that I will need to and want to learn and figure out. And it just takes sitting there in front of that computer and figuring out all the annoying stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you got time. I mean, I had like, because I did marketing for business for so long, and then the whole social side is like imposter syndrome, intimidating.
Yeah.
I just watch a shit ton of YouTube, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, you can. There's so much you can learn from YouTube. And I actually did that sort of when I was learning heaps of guitar when I was in lockdown COVID. I actually did learn a lot, and I used to just make demos, but I really wasn't great. But what I understand is that like there's a lot you can learn, but then you need to put it to actual practice.
Yeah.
So I haven't really done that. I sort of understand how tracks are sort of engineered and put together, but I don't have the taste for it. And like you have to sit there and make sure that you're not listening to it for too long.
Yeah, there'll be so much trial and error.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. But in that study period when I during the summer last year, the year before, I think. The Christmas before last Christmas. That when I the year that I left Pity.
Yeah.
So university stopped in November, and I went back to my old boss and I just said, look man, I just want to like work over the summer holidays, just make heaps of money. And he was like, yeah, all for it. So I went back to work, like just 40, 50 hours a week, that, and then at the same time playing like 4 gigs a week.
Oh my God.
Because I was just like, I got nothing, like, I didn't.
Summer holidays.
I didn't
like
have
prime
I didn't
time.
have a partner at the time. You know what I mean? I had no like everything seemed to work out for me. It was just like I can really just work real hard right now.
Yeah, keep you
And
up
I
trouble.
burnt out a little bit, but it was like it was good character building as well.
Yeah.
Because I worked really hard for. I think when you sort of want to go and do something on your own, it's like the thing that keeps you trapped in your shit job that you hate is kind of like the amount of time it leaves you to be able to get something started for yourself.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's not really quite fair. But if you just be that crazy motherfucker and just like go and use that time
Yeah.
and maybe burn yourself out a little bit,
Yeah.
but you might be able to use that. You know, you'll lose a bit of sleep. You might be able to use that to slowly build that over time to a point where you can leave your fucking shit job.
Yeah, I
And
walked
that's
away
sort of
from
what, yeah.
6-figure job.
Really?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah,
I had empathy for musos. I'm like, I want to earn no money as well.
What was it?
I was head of marketing for international conference company.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you like about it? Just like politics and
Yeah,
stuff?
politics. And being online like 8 till 6, but now I'm online like 8 until
And just having
7
someone
till 10.
and just having someone breathing down your neck all the time.
I mean, I was the head, but still.
Still, yeah.
Then I had to manage people.
You've got this massive like expectation to
Yeah,
live up
doing
to.
events during COVID, like why, and then we're like floods. It's like, why is no one coming? Because they're scared.
Yeah, no, that was a very terrible time.
Oh yeah,
for
it wasn't.
everyone, obviously, but I think like music has never been the same since.
Yeah, working for yourself is like burnout too, because you're always in your head then,
Yeah.
and you need to like, at least with music you can bounce, and you got a household musicians.
Yeah.
You can bounce ideas off.
I think just working for yourself is you need to figure out, because my biggest problem now is lack of structure.
Yeah.
So like the lifestyle is like, it kind of helps having a Monday to Friday, 2-day weekend. Now it's just like I could be busy Monday to Thursday or have the week. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then I work on Tuesday, you know, like in the morning, and it's just a bit weird. So, but that's one thing you can learn to manage. It's like, it's how shift workers do it. You know what I mean? But I've just never been a shift worker, you know, so... I don't know how guys at the bar and stuff do it, like, till 4 in the mornings.
Oh, same.
I would probably die.
Yeah. I used to, like, work in a pub, and then we'd have to, like, we'd work in the pokies, and then you'd have to kick everyone out, like, 2, 3 a.m, and then you'd have to rake the dollar coins out. And you'd be at the bottom, and they'd go drop to the bottom, and you'd be, like, raking the dollar coins, and, like, counting them in all the machines.
That's, yeah.
And then you're covered in, like, cigarettes, beer, and you come home. It was horrible.
And the whole time you're there, you just got something going,
and
some person sitting there trying to talk to you because he's off his head.
No, they kick them out at this point.
Oh, okay.
But you'd have the pokey machines, like 50 of them.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, you go home like listening to more Chile.
It'd just that alone would just drive me mad. Just like bright lights, loud noises, like annoying situations, you know. Like, dealing with people who are also going through the same thing and just want to go home.
It's it's hard, like, and then you do morning shifts, so you'd have to like start at 8 and then you finish at 4 and then you'd have to be back there.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's really not. I remember, you know Chad? From, Chad.
It's like,
Don't know
Chad
why I said
Chad?
Chad from Budrum Distilling.
Nah.
They used to work at Soul Bar ages ago.
Oh yeah, the bartender.
Yeah.
He does all some fancy shit.
Yeah, gives everyone shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was telling me one time he was like working 90-hour weeks. And, like, he was homeless at the time.
Oh.
You're just like, oh my god.
We'll just go bar to bar.
That's
wrap
insane.
Up wow.
You're hard working, yeah. I mean, yeah.
How do you
Same thing. I would just die.
Yeah. Oh.
It's just, and that's the line of work too, though, as well. It's just like having to always go to work and put your smile on your face when you're just exhausted. Whereas, you know, at least I felt like, you know, not to say it's better anyway, but like going back to just like civil was like you can just go to your job and do your job you need to do without needing to really talk to anyone too much. Like, depends what's happening, but if everyone knows you're going through a shit time, they'll leave you alone. Yeah. You know?
That's, I remember like corporate people come up to my desk at like 8 and I was just like, just let me have my coffee. Like, fuck. And it's like, I can get up, go to the gym in the morning, but don't fucking talk to me until like 9.
Yeah.
So then, what's your like tip for gigs? So when you try and get gigs, do you emails, do you send them socials? Have you had any like pushback?
I literally I've learned how to sort of do it. This is where I was saying where I was
ChatGPT
like,
your email.
no, I'm firmly against using ChatGPT. I used to use it in university to find sources to explain something that I could then read and verify.
Right.
I would not use it to help me articulate something or figure out an answer.
Yeah.
But even that, like, I don't need to do that anymore. But that would help cut down so much, like, it's time on your computer just trying to find something that affirms something that you know is actually correct, but you just need a Harvard reference for it.
Yeah.
That's where it became helpful. But oh god, like, I think it's going to be the end of human creativity.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things, jobs and everything. But man, imagine like you get to a point where you can just put AI in your brain, and all of a sudden you're just musical genius. It's like takes all the authenticity out of everything.
There's like creativity, and then there's mundane admin tasks, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. But then there's humanity as well, which also is a part of mundane admin tasks.
Yeah.
Like, not like the task itself is not so, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just taking humanity out of everything.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even say you've got this AI thing sending you emails and like you're trying to explain that, like, oh, sorry, I messed something up because I'm going through a really hard time at the moment. And you got to trust an AI robot to.
Do you know what has helped? Because like if I get an angry email and you're just like, fuck you, and then I put it in the AI, I'm like, respond nicely, and
we're teaching AI robots to be human, and it's going to piss them off. You know what I mean? Being a human is awesome, but it also sucks. There's things that...
It's good to moderate it's like, bring my emotions down to it when it's politically correct. And I'm like, I want to say this, but can you make it sound nicer? Like, diplomatic?
Yeah.
I have done that one.
I will say, actually, I did use it one time, because I was like, I need a musician biography.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, people always ask me, I was like, I don't want to sit down here and describe myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't do that. It's not just about self-praise, it's also like, I don't know how to define myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's however you take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how do I wrap up my entire life into a paragraph?
Yeah. Or everything that you stand for, you know what I mean? At least creatively.
How would you describe your, like... Because, Haleigh Hing is, like, your cover profile. And now you've got...
Apollo Soul. Yeah. Oh, look, it was just an idea I had...
Where'd the name come from?
So, I just made it up recently. And I thought it was cool, but...
I like it.
Steve mentioned it to me. I was there recording and he was talking about, you know, and he's been opening my mind up to like different things that I can start to think about as a solo artist, and again, just coaching me through the production process as well. But he was like, you know, it can be very helpful as well. You know, there's pros and cons to everything. But he's like, if you have, you know, a brand name, like that's what he has himself, Stonewax.
Yeah.
If you have like a name for yourself, a stage name, like think like Kevin Parker from Tame Impala, it's something that is really a lot more brandable.
Yeah.
Something that goes, it just sells more. Like not that that's the most important thing, but we're talking about merch and everything.
And also still need to eat food.
people generally love like a brand and like not just someone's name. Like it's just why band merch does really well. It's just what it is.
It's a
it's something for people to be like, oh, what is that about? You know, it's you read a shirt, you don't even know it's about music. It's just like, why is everyone wearing these Nothing Butter shirts? What's Nothing Butter? They look really cool, and I want to figure out what it is.
Well, there's a reason like Nike is big as brand. People buy into brand, and it's like Apollo Soul doesn't have the drama of like Haleigh Hing. It's like, you can separate your personal life from your brand.
Yeah, and that's one side of it is like brandability, which is definitely not the most important side. The other side I thought was like, because I'd actually had this idea a while ago, and I considered it for all of these same reasons, but then I kind of ended up going, oh, I don't know, I'll probably stick with my own name. And then Steve mentioned it to me, and I was like, actually, you know what? I think I might do that. So, the other part for me is it's like it's also
keep Haleigh Hing feel like your Pentecostal biblical brand.
Not to say that anything about what anyone else does or anything, but I like what's the word? I like the sentiment of like having this idea that's just like something that I'm envisioning, and it's the music that I love, but it also represents not just me, but, you know, every influence I've had in my life from my singing teacher, from my brother, from Pity Vincent, the Nothing Butter Boys. Like, who I am today is very well shaped by all the projects I've been involved in. Like, even I played with Nothing Butter several times, played a couple of gigs with them. Like, always have a jam with them on the bass, because Matt's the only one that doesn't live with us, so if the boys are just jamming, like, I'll pick the bass up and have a jam. You know, but always wanted to do my own thing, and it's like I'm very stubborn in the vision that I'm looking for and the music that I'm looking for, but I want it to not just be like it's all about me, you know what I mean? It's kind of just
collective.
It's an artistic itch that I really want to scratch. You know what I mean?
Scratch.
That's
right here.
It is. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of just like it's an artistic itch that I really want to scratch. It's an acknowledgement to not just like. I want to stand out a little bit as well. That's the other part of it. Yeah. Do something that not everyone does. But also, it's not just like a all about me thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like I want it to represent. And my music is very. What I'm doing is very, hence Apollo Soul. Like I'd say it's. I think I've taken a few years to kind of like how can I describe the music that I make? I make very heartfelt.
Yeah.
So in the past, some very dark and sad songs and. Really good, but I don't like, you know, I don't like sitting around. I don't really like sitting around listening to sad songs anymore. So I've been playing some happier songs, but, you know, all of it's all just comes from the soul. And that's what I feel like, it's just like, it is soul music. And it's just like any other genre of music could be. But my fundamental belief is that you can't define a musician by a genre. Each musician or band is fundamentally their own genre. Yeah. There's this band called The Story So Far, and they're like a skate punk band from like the 2010s or something. I love all their music. I listen to all of it. Used to skate, like used to love the skate punk, but I don't really like any other kind of pop punk. I just like them. Yeah. And that's where it's just like that's true. Where it begins for me. It's just like, you know, I like the blues, but you know, whatever. I like this artist the way that he does it. Yeah. And I listen to all his songs. You know what I mean? Because I like his sound, and that's where I think it's just like, there's no genre, but it can help sort of people understand what they're about to witness. Yeah. So for me, I just call it soul music, and it's very nice, uplifting, you know, there's some darker stuff, but it's all very, I love my lyric writing, I love putting a lot of meaning into it. Yeah. And I kind of want to do what I know that I can do well and capitalise on it. You know what I mean? That's one thing I've known myself is like, I'm not really the greatest, like, I've never been great at ripping solos or guitar. You know, I'm actually at a stage in my life where I'm kind of a bit sick of the guitar. Because I've been playing it for years, hence the keys. But I never knew I could actually, I kind of always just felt a little bit intimidated about stepping out of my box of what I've known for so long. Yeah. And once I realised I could do it, I've just started doing it and I can't stop because it feels so good. Oh, there you go. And, the keys feels like I can just express a bit more. The notes come out of my head a lot easier rather than like thinking, oh, okay, I want to hear a flat 2 on this, but now I've got to rearrange my entire hand position because I can only use this one hand. Whereas on the keys, you can hold down your entire chord and you can just use your ring and your pinky to add all those extra little notes that you just have a lot more flexibility harmonically. And I've found that's been very helpful. And I just like, we'll chuck that on a hip hop beat that Steve will lay down and we'll play the rhythm section together. That's generally how they've been coming together lately.
How many are you recording at the moment?
I started recording with Steve just not really knowing what I was doing. I was just like, and that's what he said. He was like, I think what's holding you back is just that you just need to start doing it and figure it out as you go. Yeah. And he was so right. And so I've gotten like a bunch of songs really well on their way, like started, but now I'm also need to finish them. And there's always that next sort of like, what's the next thing I need to do? Yeah. To tick off the box. Because I do that for one song, and then I'm like, okay, now I can just do that for that song and that song and that song and that song. Yeah. So I think I've got about six tracks there, but I have more songs than that. I've just also come to accept that one thing that was really holding me back was making me feel like I had to do something with all of the old songs that I had. Because they are really good songs and I love them, but it's just like, if you're sitting there thinking about how to make them work for this project that you got and you're not getting anything else done, then you may as well just sit it aside. You don't have to ditch it
I was
forever.
gonna say, just keep it in box.
Yeah, but then the other day I went and recorded with Steve, and I was like, look, man, I'm not really quite prepared, but I just had an idea this morning about this old bass line I had from when I was real young, and I just couldn't write a good song out of it.
Yeah.
But I just remember it being a sick bass line. And then we just did that it was a very successful day.
Oh, that's cool.
So I played the bass, he played the drums, we put some keys on it. It was this very sort of like, almost like a hip-hoppy, but dark and gritty, but soulful feeling.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's very exciting.
And it's all going to be released under Apollo Soul.
Yeah.
Are you going to do the Spotify thing? Or
I am wondering about that. It's one thing that me and Harry have spoken about a little bit recently. That's obviously, I don't know if you're aware, but that's what Steve just did. He just put his album out on Spotify for preview, which is so fucking cool.
Wait.
He put it out on Spotify for preview, and then at the end of every song there'd be an intermission and it'd be like, go to stonewax.com to listen to the rest of the track.
Oh my god, like back in the day. Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like, I totally agree with that. Like, I think everyone just needs to get away from Spotify. But the thing is, like, you got to think about the small artist who has nothing for himself yet, like myself. And it's like, how am I supposed to convince people to do that for me with where I'm at?
Yeah.
It's like, that might be a thing where I consider, okay, I might go and put like an EP out on Spotify, see how it goes, to see how I can sort of get myself to a position where I feel like I have a pretty sturdy following and I'm just happy with what I'm doing. And then I might start to think about moving away from it.
Yeah.
But that's the hard thing, is it's just like, you know, it's that thing where everyone's like, oh, we just all need to just, it's just a very hard thing to coordinate.
I mean, that's cool.
Think about all the people that are just trying to start something out and they're fighting against everyone else who's trying to be heard. And
it's also like there's musicians, but then it's like you've got the rest of the world that you want to listen and they're on one platform and you're trying to be like, I'm over here. It's hard. Like, I don't agree with the Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
It can...
tricky.
I reckon it can work if it can also just be more locally encouraged.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're not getting paid for your music anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just like...
It depends what your goal is, I suppose.
If your goal is to get more listeners, then, like, obviously you'd want to use a streaming service, regardless of whether it's Spotify or anything. Morally, I think, we should be, like, going back to actually supporting music and sort of buying it. And like, But the thing is, I realised this the other night too, is like, I thought about all this stuff in my head and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. But then I thought, oh, if we just didn't have Spotify, but we sold our music, but you know, we still had all the internet and everything, we'd just go back to using FrostWire and downloading everything illegally anyway.
Yeah, literally.
not we, but the entire world was.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do when I was young as, like...
Spotify's good for, like, giving you taste testers.
Yeah.
Like, but I have my diehard bands and I'll still listen to their album through and through. And it's like, I'd buy their album, but for the other... There's so much shit out there too, not shit. There's music that I don't really like.
There's an argument to be made that there is too much on Spotify.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they allow too much.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think that also messes with, like, you know, how the money is spread around and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you just shouldn't be able to, you know, put something out that's just so... I don't know. I can't really say that. I feel like, you know, people put their demos and stuff out, but it's just like, if you were back in the day to go to a record store and buy some music, you'd got to trust that your supplier is giving you quality music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember we used to go and put them in the headphones and listen
and
to, like,
to say quality is like to imply that, you know, everyone's opinion is their own about what music is, but at least to know that there's they have built themselves a nice following and people do actually get around and have a reason to go into that store and buy your vinyl or your CD.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's just so much.
Yeah, there's so much. But to come back around to that thing that I was talking about was like, I've still got this in my head because I remember you mentioned it. Like, how does a musician sort of do all the cover stuff and try to keep their originality as well?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you have to just keep it very separate and think of it as work, and then think about like how much of your work is like, I go and play my gig. Unless there's like a social environment around me, if there's like my mate playing down the road, I just get in, I have the easiest setup. That also encourages me to make sure that I'm playing good, because I don't really have like a lot of, you know, sort of, I don't have stomp boxes or anything like that. Not to say anything about that, but it makes my setup and pack up so much easier as well. I get in, I set up in 20 minutes, I play. I get out of there in 20 minutes. And that's how, just think about it like work. Unless someone's sitting there talking to you about getting you a wedding, you know?
Yeah.
Like, network if you need to, whatever, but treat it like work. Do I need to be here? No, go home.
Do you have a sign that says your name?
I do, yeah.
So many musicians don't have their name. Like,
it's so handy.
Like,
it's the handiest thing. You know what else I did recently? Like, a lot of people ask me, like, why don't you put your guitar case out for tips? And I'm just like, there's not always a lot of room. Yeah. It's just, I'd rather just not. Like, it's... Like, yeah, tips would be good, but it really... No, well, I just made a tip jar recently, so... I just put some tape around it, made it look real nice, and, like, people just actually... Like, if you just do that, they realise that they actually can tip you, and they will.
Do you know she get, like, a little...
I made an extra $100 over the weekend, I think, because one night there was a group of people just give you, like, $40 in total. Then the other night, someone just gave me a pineapple, gave me a 50, and there's $100 that I wouldn't... Yeah, pineapple. There's $100 that I wouldn't have made otherwise.
Well, that's so good.
You know what I mean?
You should have, you know, you'd like increase it even more, having like a little poodle.
Mm.
I reckon it goes, like, you get even more.
You probably could,
I'm gonna bring Mum's dog down just for one gig.
I think I've seen someone do that actually.
Oh, damn it.
But, yeah, so for me, my thing that leaches into my creativity and my originality is like, just when you're in, well, like I said, I treat it completely separately. When I come home, I don't want to think about it anymore. I don't want to be going like, I need to learn this. That's why I typically, like, at least where I'm at in my life at the moment, I don't feel like I need to do weddings or... Because those are those things that will leach into your life and go like, oh, I need to get this song perfect for this ceremony.
Because you're getting that emotional baggage as well of the bridal couple.
Yeah, well, it's just hard, like, trying to creatively think of something and then trying to learn something. Like, I think creativity is this thing you can't put a measure of time on. It's more like, you should, like, spend 2 hours songwriting every day. And it's like, you could do that and that'd definitely help.
Yeah.
Or, I'm just saying, like, any amount of time. You know, spend an hour, say, a couple times a night, whatever.
Creativity comes when you're, like, driving in the shower or going to bed.
But
like,
for me, say, if that's the time that I have, it's like, think about what affects you during that time and what contaminates your focus. And, like, you know, for me, it's just, like, not knowing that I don't have a bunch of other responsibilities and stuff that are weighing down on me. So it's, like, just also being on top of your life, not being too, like... I say that, but, you know, it's like people definitely write amazing songs when they're... I just mean in making it like a regular process, like something that you can count on all the time. It's like you got to accept that you might sit there for 1 hour or 2 hours and get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Because that will happen. It's more just putting yourself in the state where you can embrace the possibility of what could happen.
Yeah.
And the best way, like for me, I like to build an entire song on the keyboard or on the guitar. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Whereas someone else might like to use the computer. And that's where I said, like, now that I'm playing on my own, I can't really have a bunch of people to help put an entire composition together. Yeah. I'd either need to sort of put it into a computer, listen to it, so I can be like, oh yeah, those drums and bass do sound good together.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go good with this part here. It's like, I've got to try and, like, just envision it, at least at this point.
Yeah.
The one thing that allows for that creativity for me is to try and just build the entire thing on the keys, and then that way I'm not putting too much pressure on myself either, and I'm just actually just having fun exploring. Yeah. And then all those little notes that I put in the keys, they don't have to stay that way, but that helped me build the image of the song in my head, and now I can sort of be like, okay, all these left-hand notes I'm playing, they can be the bass when I go and record it. All these right-hand notes, they can stay, or they can complement a guitar that's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, but... And also just, making sure that you know how to switch your brain off into a place where you don't feel like you're guilty for doing something that not only...
stress, and then stress just ruins creativity.
But, and also, like, how do you think of your music? Do you think of it as something that's like, I need to get this song out for the people? You know what I mean? Or is it like something where it's just like... One thing I realised too that actually helped me a lot was when I started recording with Steve, I felt like, I've just got to get a song out. It's been so long.
Yeah.
And then I realised that I was hanging on this song for too long, and as, like, I started other songs by accident just because I was like, I'm just not prepared.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that I actually made a lot more progress doing that than sitting around thinking too hard about one song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I am waiting a little bit longer for all this to happen, but the process is more rewarding. I learn more from it, and I'm a lot less stressed out. about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing for me is just also that pressure of like, I think a new thing as well is like being a solo artist and going and putting, because I haven't done this yet, going and putting your own original stuff out is like all of the criticism is going to reflect on you alone.
Yeah.
And not other members of your band or anything like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say that anyone's going to critique, but you know, you think about those things in your head.
At least
think
the Polo
about like,
Soul, you can just claim that there's more of you.
yeah.
That's like, Locals in the Loop, people attack me, it's like, yeah, team.
Yeah. But that's one thing people wanted to me too, is, and we were talking about that before, like keeping your sort of separate identities is like, not that I think that hard about it, but it's more just the Instagram thing, the social media thing.
Yeah.
That my main page is where I've done so much of my business, marketing, everything, connections, and I've built this profile for my identity, not only like my network and my business and promoting like just the solo gigs, but also my identity as like a musician who is in the cover game, doesn't just write songs like I do. I will put up the promotion posters for you, you know, if I'm playing bass in your band.
Yeah.
For example, like when I played bass with Seamus at Double Barrel, this last minute like pub gig, loved it. It was heaps of fun. And, you know, obviously I would use that page and say, hey, all you people that come and watch my cover gigs, come watch this sick band gig that I'm playing at. Whereas I don't really want to use a page that, well, at least it's not like I don't want to use, it's more like just the fact that I do have something really, a massive following on there, and I can leverage that power toward that and toward business, and then I can also leverage that power towards this new thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if you took Instagram, Facebook out of the picture, you wouldn't really be thinking about this.
Yeah, I know, it's so true.
Everyone's like, why do you start a new account? It's like, it's just Instagram, bro. Like, this, when I put the music on Spotify, it's going to be called Apollo Soul.
Yeah. Are you going to have a logo?
I'm gonna have some artworks. I'm gonna have some artworks done. I think it's gonna be very, like, this is why I love working with Steve as well.
I was gonna say Steve's was art.
Yeah, he's I think he sort of just sparked the fire in me that I sort of had when I was young. Also, not just like music, but like just your taste in aesthetic and like a feeling that you're giving to the receiver.
Yeah.
So it's not just the music, it's also, and one thing I know now for sure is not just like how good the music is, but you go watch a band show, you want to see them loving it and you know, hitting moments in sync, and like that is a massive part of it. And the same thing is like, I listen, like back in the day, that's where I sort of got like a lot of my trad style tattoos and stuff, because I just love the colour and the design. I got a lot of that from that band I used to listen to, The Story, so far, because in a lot of that punk music they use a lot of that stuff. But that's an example right there where they've made an association with this kind of aesthetic and this feeling, and it kind of creates this vibe of like, you know, young skater, you know, from California thing.
Well, that was like way back then, like when bands were starting, there was like the hair, the fashion, everything was related to the band, and like people would follow and dress and
that's it. It creates a vibe. People that loved Motley Crue, they'd go and put eyeliner on and stuff, you know. And like, that's not something I'm suggesting that I'll do. But I mean, you can see how people's not only music but their personality and their just what they stand for rubs off, and that's not that the music is not the only thing that makes people fall in love with what you're doing. Yeah,
well, that's the beauty of social media. It allows the personality to shine through as well.
Yeah. But that's where I was like as well, like I want to get heaps of like trad art done, because I feel like I've always loved that.
Yeah.
I love like floral patterns, like with traditional sort of American. I have all the tattoos I have on my body were done by Mitch 13 Tattoos, like his tag on Instagram. He's at White Tiger in Noosa, and I kind of just would give him these ideas. I'm like, I never really had a design. I kind of was like, oh, something like this. I kind of want, like, you know, a lion with like some sort of floral stuff, and I want it to sort of be right here on my body and have, you know, a banner sort of that says like, what does it say, follow your heart or something?
Yeah.
And then he just would design it, and it would just come out brilliant, and I'd be like, this guy's just really good at what he does. Like, not just the inking, but like the understanding and the vision, and that's like what's going into what I'm doing as well.
Yeah.
Trying to create that feeling that you get from not only just music.
The 360 experience.
Yeah. My main mission now is, like I said, spend a bit of time trying to work on the business side of things, get that I think I do pretty well to keep those two things separated, and I know that, like, you know, just for example, I try to, when I can, schedule my life in a way where I can have a day. I prefer to have like a whole day to think about music, because it allows me to not feel like, oh, I've got to go play. Whereas before, I'd work first thing in the morning, come home in the arvo. At least, you know, in the arvo, like, you don't get heaps of time, but at least you know you have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when I'm at home, sort of anticipating it, you know, I've got to play my first gig for this run of gigs for the weekend, that can make me sort of think like, okay, I've got to get my voice in check and like, make sure I've eaten enough food, because that can be tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I can't eat too much like before I play, so if
if
I play 2 gigs, I've got to try and like get up early and make sure I'm eating brekkie, and otherwise I do wither away.
Yeah.
But I make lots of money, so it's cool.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, but that's one thing for me, and I just know I have a brain that just ticks and ticks, but it's also very easily distracted.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where it's just like, okay, you just got to find systems in your life that help to cater for that.
Yeah.
And one thing is like knowing that there's no anticipation to go and do something, or like make sure if you do get that time to do the thing that you want to do and be creative, that you don't contaminate it, don't look at your phone.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I learned recently was how, like, I've always known it, how bad, you know, your social media is and stuff for your phone, but the more you go through life, you just realise how worse and worse it is. I remember seeing something one time, this guy was like, he's like, do you realise it takes 20 minutes for your brain to actually, like, zone in and focus, you know what I mean? Like, to not be distracted. But all it takes is 1 second to look at your phone, and then that's broken, and you got to spend that 20 minutes again.
Yeah.
Trying to zone in.
Yeah.
And for me, that was very hard to figure out. That was what made studying a bit hard as well, because just all my shit was just all over the place, and it made it very hard. So I'd say like scheduling and probably just looking after yourself a bit better too, because for me it was like, at least now if I go play a gig, I know that I'm going to go home, go straight to bed, and then I've got all day tomorrow. Whereas like when you stick around for a couple of drinks or something afterward, you don't know how many more drinks you're going to have. You don't know how long you're going to sleep, or how shit you feel for the next day. And that was one thing that messed with me for a little bit. It was heaps of fun, but I realised I was severely limiting my capabilities doing that. And it's not so much about the night, it's more about the day after. Yeah. It's just like...
the brain fog. And
I don't really get too hungover, like my head doesn't hurt or anything like that. It's more just like, I just have less energy, I'm less focused, and, you know, it takes a lot of focus to like really sit down, and especially, I think it's different when you have something that you've been doing for ages, like Pity Vincent, and you know what you need to do. Where it's like, but if you need to sit down and figure out where I'm at now, is like, how the hell am I even going to do this? I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, that's why I had that realisation. I'm like, I have to work for myself. I've got so much shit on my shoulders, and my brain's just like...
Yeah. But you got to allow time in your life to like actually sit down with no distractions, reflect on what you're doing, and like people will think like, oh, you might think like, oh, I've literally got to schedule in time just to sit down and look at a wall.
Yeah.
And not look at anything else and think about what I'm doing. Maybe have a journal. That helped me a lot. Was starting to write my thoughts out and organise things a lot more. But you need that. If you're so flat out, and I've done this so many times in my life, you're so flat out, you get that one day where it's like you actually get the time to think about what's going on, and then you just have this crazy realisation, or you just realise you're doing everything wrong. Or you just realise that you didn't have to put yourself through everything you just put yourself through, but you didn't have the time to think about what you were even doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's also just a personal journey as well, is because like regardless of, you know, your cover gigs contaminating your originality, it's also just like your originality comes from you being yourself, and also not like finding it difficult to explain what I'm trying to say. It's like, being yourself. Originality comes from being yourself and respecting it as well, and making sure that you allow time to, and it's not always just about time, you know, it's also allow your, let's call it, like I hear people talk about hygiene, like people talk about sleep hygiene, you know what I mean? Like making sure that before you go to bed, you're switching your phone off, you're not doing all your jobs all your home chores until you go right to bed. Like, take some
Yeah,
time
that's what I
to
do.
actually read. I've done that for years, and I find it very difficult.
Yeah,
But
you get used to it.
They call that sleep hygiene, because it's like you're getting yourself ready to sleep in the most efficient way you can.
Yeah, I just work until I drop. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the same with, like, if you're trying to sit down and really figure something out you haven't done before, you're trying to do something for yourself. It's like, don't contaminate that, and like have some more hygiene around it.